I served in, I joined in 79. I retired in 03. That's the Army. And my father, with my dad, owning this shoe repair shop. It's just like he told me, it wasn't enough money in here for both of us. So I had a choice. Either to join the military or go to school. And I chose the military. So you have somebody sign that paper because I was 17. And my mother had a fit and said, nah, she ain't signing nothing. You know, and then my dad said, where is that?
I served in the U.S. Army in October of 1967 to May of 1969. I was a junior at Temple University in 1967, October as a matter of fact, and I came home for some reason, and my sister asked me, did you get my letter? And I said, what letter? She said, you've been drafted, you have to report for induction in about 2 weeks. So next thing you know, I withdrew from all my classes, and went to the induction center in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and next thing I know, I was on a train going to, I landed here in South Carolina at Fort Jackson, the reception center, and then I took basic training in Fort Gordon.
We served in the Air Force, and I came in September of '95 and served until technically 1 April of 2016.
And I came in January of 1996 and served until April 1st of 2016.
We both grew up in military towns. I grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, so you have Air Force and Army in Fayetteville, and then on the coast of North Carolina you have the Marines. So it's kind of surrounded by different branches of the military my whole entire life.
My dad was in the Army, so he is a veteran. And he always told me that if I was going to join a branch of the military, just to do the Air Force.
I was in the Navy, and so I signed on in 1968, and I went to boot camp in Christmas of 1968. It was 25 below zero at Great Lakes. I couldn't believe it. Was lucky in that while I was still in a master's program at Carolina, I got a deferment for 1 year, one deferment, and I was able to, I went to Columbia, one other place, and then Charleston, and I was able to join a Navy Reserve unit. And the reason I wanted the Navy because my father was in the Navy, and I really wanted to go to sea.
I was drafted in 1966 in the Army. Took my basic training at Fort Jackson, and from Fort Jackson to Huntsville, Alabama for my ammunition training. And my chemical training was at Fort McCullough in Alabama. Then from there, went to Vietnam. That's in March of '67, and I stayed over there until March of '68, and I was there for the Tet Offensive. When I came back from Vietnam, I joined the National Guard after my reserve time was up, and I stayed in the National Guard for about 25 years, and I went to Reforger. I don't know whether you remember the World War II, Allied forces there in World War II in Europe. So we returned back there. Myself, and the young man you mentioned by Sloan Griffin, he was in my squad also. He was there with us also.
Germany was another world. When the back of the plane opened up, and when we started convoying to get to the location we was at, and we stayed in some Hitler's old barracks, and it was the corridors was wide, real wide, that the soldiers can march down through there. It was cold, wet, because I was there in the wintertime.
Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alaska, and then New Mexico was our final station. And then Claudia, she had to go and do a year and a half in the Azores, which is part of Portugal, while I stayed home with the kids. Went out to Hawaii, went out to Wake Island, which is historic from World War II. Did 2 tours in Iraq, went on a New Horizons project in Panama, went to Saudi Arabia and Kyrgyzstan, did a tour out in Kyrgyzstan. And then, and then Africa was my last TDY before retirement.
After basic training, I went to Fort Lewis, Washington for AIT, which is Advanced Infantry Training, and I was supposed to go to Vietnam, and the day after my orders came down, they seized the Pueblo. And fortunately, I was sent to South Korea, and I spent 15 months in South Korea.
For 6 weeks, we patrolled the coast off Jordan because there'd been a hijacking of an American airline. And the whole ship got a medal for that, but it was pretty scary because
So everybody always thinks that everyone in the Air Force flies. I actually went into environmental engineering.
And so I was a carpenter welder, so they didn't let me anywhere near airplanes.
My job was communication. And then I went back to Honduras again, I think the following year. This time with a medical unit that was coming in that was tending to the people up in that don't have access to the town. So they live some ways off. So we flew every day in Black Hawk up the hill to treat them, and it's just amazing. Then
because of the word, no matter where we go, we as Americans, those who hadn't been out the country or saw what America was all about, they'll learn to appreciate America. Because once I saw that flag, I know I was safe. I love America. And I would tell any and everybody that if you don't appreciate what's going on in America, go to another country and see how they live and see what they have to put up with. And you appreciate.
Am I glad I served? I'm very proud that I served. People said, well, why didn't you run to Canada? Well, it never really entered my mind. Besides, I wasn't that brave to run to another country. I didn't have any skills because I was going to college when this happened. So, no, I never ever thought about, running to Canada.
What was really nice was, with very few exceptions, we felt like everyone on board was, we were trying to keep each other alive.
I mean, for me, traveling all over the world, I've seen poor. I mean, I've seen poor. Yes, we have poor people in the United States, but they don't compare when you go to some of these other countries. So I'm always saying, and not everybody has those opportunities that we do here. If you're born there, you're just there. And so seeing that firsthand, it's really made me appreciate some of the stuff we have that.
That got me more concerned now is how we can't come together. How we can't come across the aisle to discuss things.
It's the tribalism. How we talk about racism in this country, the different theories and ideas. It's just very upsetting, and
just absolute divisiveness that has come alive in our country. And I do blame a lot of it on social media platforms because their search algorithms. If you start searching or you like something or whatever, it just sends you down a rabbit hole. And it doesn't matter what side of political spectrum you're on, it just sends you down these rabbit holes, and it just baits people against one another. You know, trying to put neighbor against neighbor, when actually if you go over and talk to your neighbor, you may not believe in everything, but you're neighbors, and you know, you can be neighbors and work together.
For me, I don't know why some people have this allure towards dictatorship. Like they're going towards dictatorship. Being born in another country, seeing how the M19 in Colombia got its roots over there.
It seems like everybody is joining on the bandwagon to want to separate their fellow man from America, because of the worried, once they tear it down, who can put it back together? Can it be put back together?